Hi, my name's Asia and I'm with Rebirth into Wellness Incorporated. I'm going to do a reading and a healing today on the Feminine Collective. First, I'm going to start with the Threads of Fate card deck. This card already flew out. Now I'm going to pull a few cards from the Talisman Oracle. The first card that comes up is Ancestors. I know a lot of us are working through our ancestral lineage healing, and most of us don't actually have access to healings very easily around healing the ancestry. A lot of people don't know how to do it or how to go about it, and that's definitely a big theme, I think, not just for the feminine, but in general. We do have really specific wounds being carried from our feminine ancestors through the womb, and the sacral and the root is the lower world in shamanism. And this is a place of all pasts where we carry sort of lower, denser earth energies. And essentially, in the feminine aspects, it is a part of what creates our experiences of our cycle, of our femininity, of anything to do with sacred sexuality, our experiences of giving birth, miscarriages, abortions, that type of thing. And what happens is most of us are very disconnected from our sacral or our womb space if we are females and actually have a womb. Now, this isn't just for women who physically have wombs. We all have a spiritual womb, or we come from a womb. So this does really apply to everyone in general. There seems to be a lot of stagnant energies that have been lingering in the lower world for a long time. We have many lineages where people come from lines of war. Pretty much everybody has war in their history, in their bloodline somewhere. And genocides, raping, pillaging, all these things were not that long ago, only a few generations back when that was a fairly normal thing to have happen. And these things still do happen in the modern day. So any of these types of wounds that carry in that area are essentially coming up collectively to be healed. And we will be doing a healing afterwards around all of these energies that we're going to talk about today. Now, a part of what happens when we have wounds in the womb is we start to disconnect and not live fully in ourselves, and we can't fully express ourselves in our emotions, our feelings. We begin to hold things back all the time, and this can be in every relationship, and including just you yourself in general, how you relate to yourself, how you feel about yourself, feeling disconnected, disempowered, suppressed. All of these energies are things that we've been carrying, whether they're incidents or events that happen in this lifetime or whether they've been carried through the lineages. We all have some form of that living in that space. The womb is meant to be a creative space, a place where we can create and bring to life all of our seeds, of our desires, our joys, our manifestations, and most importantly, our purpose, whatever that looks like. And when we have blockages or any kind of traumas that are being held there, it usually disconnects us from that space. And what it does is it kind of hinders our process of manifestation. So we begin to struggle manifesting or feel like we're not supported. And so then we begin to embody much more of the masculine energies, doing everything yourself, not asking for help, not being good at asking for help, not trusting anyone else to do or help you, or to do anything that you ask. And the very next card is the trust card. So, to trust in our own feminine power and our own abilities, that we will be supported by the masculine energies, which is the source, the sun. The feminine is the earth, and the cosmic feminine is the moon. And trusting our emotions, trusting our intuition, trusting our inner knowing and guidance that we have, and our ability to create. Having a womb space is sacred, and everyone can connect into that space, whether it be physically or spiritually, it doesn't matter. And when we do, and we begin to take our power back, we begin to manifest easily. We begin to surrender and go with the flow of life and trust our own abilities. And tapping into that feminine energy is actually what makes us attractive. It attracts things to us because instead of the go-getting and the doing, we're now sitting back in ease and grace and flow and surrendering to the process and allowing things to come to us. So whether or not you're actually a female physically, this is a power that is extremely powerful to tap into. And these wounds are carried through ourselves, our own experiences in this lifetime, but then also other timelines, including our family, our history, our ancestry. One of the biggest things that the wounds in the womb space cause, if you do have a physical womb, is issues with the cycle, very painful periods, instability, non-consistency in your cycle, where it fluctuates. And if there's hormonal issues or imbalances, that will also affect our digestive, and these things are directly related. The things that store sort of in the belly or the womb area are suppressed emotions, anything to do with sexual traumas, birthing traumas, pregnancy traumas, miscarriages, abortions. These wounds are carried in that space. Our body remembers everything, every experience, every trauma, and every joy. And when we have these traumas, then our ego kicks in, and then we have these triggers around those specific traumas. So every time that you feel triggered, that means there's a trauma underneath the surface, no matter how big or small, that is still residing in your subconscious. And the lower world, which is sacral and root and lower, is the place of our subconscious. What are we creating from our subconscious? Are we creating healthy patterns? Are they unhealthy? How many unhealthy patterns do we have? How deep does it go? Does it come from us? Does it come from our mother? Does it come from our lineages? The womb is also carrying the history of our ancestors of the feminine lineages. How many stories of rape or abortions or miscarriages are being carried there? How much sickness or illness is being carried through the lineages, through that space? Endometriosis, PCOS, all these things are basically signs, especially if they're running through an entire family line, that there's something being carried in the womb space that needs an awareness. It needs healing. It needs that next step to help you clear it, cleanse it, accept it, and then let go. Another thing that comes up is our relationships with ourselves and our relationships with others. Our womb space is a place where it's a receptacle, and any energies that you might have taken in that space will stay imprinted there until you learn how to cleanse that space. And especially if there's heavier energies and traumas, that will stay in the womb space, and it causes disharmony, whether it be with our flow, our eating, our digestive, issues or digestive tract, to actual illness. And typically there's sort of a process, and these things take usually years to culminate, but they can happen depending on how severe the trauma, fairly quickly, but typically it takes many years for these things to build up in that space. A part of the ailments that have happened here is basically it's affecting your ability to connect in with yourself, your own personal power, and your confidence. We've stored a lot of energies there that are around fear, suppression, suppressed emotions, feeling like we can't speak up about our true feelings. We can't trust fully in ourselves. Once we start to heal these aspects, we begin to develop more trust. We begin to navigate life easier. We begin to create from a healthy space, and we begin to co-create with the universe. This is one of the big blessings about healing the wounds of the feminine. So, learning how to use alchemy to transform these energies is basically a part of what I'll be guiding you guys to do in the healing aspect. And once you come out of it, you will have more confidence, as this card says. And you will begin to overcome fear. And you will begin to navigate life easier, with ease and flow. So now I'll move on to the healing part, and this will just be like a guided meditation, essentially. So I'd like you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, now. Together, we're going to call on all ascension teams of all four corners, of all 5 worlds. And we're going to bring up all existence and all awareness of yourself, all 5 worlds and all 9 soul bodies up to the 55th dimension, walking up this flight of stairs and calling on any helpers, the archangels and the dragons of light, to help bring this up and help bring you all the way up to the 55th dimension till you come to a giant golden door. This golden door is big enough to bring everybody and everything through. Opening the door and walking through, we're going to come up to the source of all that is. We're going to invoke the quantum alchemy of light, calling on the 4 elements of diamond light or source light. We're going to raise a sphere of all 4 of these elements around us in all existence and all awareness of all 5 worlds and all 9 soul bodies. And however many lifetimes we need to go back right now, and bringing these timelines up with us. If there's any ancestors or any lineages of blood, of spirit, of earth, or of stars, of the feminine that are coming up to be healed, any feminine wounds, bringing all of these up to the light. The 4 elements of diamond light to be cleared and cleansed and purified. Cleansing all fragments and reclaiming all fragments of all 9 bodies. Reclaiming all power lost, given away, taken, or dismembered. And reclaiming the power of the sacred womb, the feminine power and the divine feminine within all of us. And then we're going to upgrade and replace with new divine feminine source light codes and structures, rewiring our subconscious, unconscious, and consciousness with the divine feminine source codes. New healthy programs and structures to help us embody the feminine aspects of ourselves, repairing any wounds of the womb or the sacral and root, all sexual organs, making sure they are cleansed and purified, repaired with the diamond light and the 4 elements of diamond light. Now we're going to imagine these fragments of ourselves and all of this lost power, reclaiming all of it and coming into oneness. Bringing our divine feminine aspects and self back into wholeness. Repairing any structures of separation, of the feminine. Asking the four gods, feminine, masculine, two-spirited, and twin flame, of white light, to help make sure that this is done in the most perfect way possible, in your highest alignment, for the highest good of all, and of all beings invested. Updating any Akashic records, contracts, or agreements. Calling on Archangel Michael to cut any cords, bonds, ties, or binds that are no longer serving your highest and greatest good. And calling on Archangel Michael and Azrael to take any ancestors that are ready to walk through into the next part of their soul's journey, to be cleansed and purified by the diamond light, and sent to the source. Imagine them walking through a diamond light flame, being cleansed and purified, and then the water to cleanse any emotional debris, the wind to suck up the debris, and the earth to bury any stories that are no longer serving, so that they can move on to the next part of their soul's journey, being transformed with the alchemy of light. And calling on any quantum light codes, source codes that we're ready to embody. Anchoring this in to every cell, all 9 soul bodies, all 5 worlds. Making sure that we're all sealed up. And that the ancestors are taken to the source light. Coming back, giving thanks, but before we leave, we're going to leave a gift at the altar. And as we leave a gift, we will also be given a gift. Bringing this gift in through the soul star, the heart, and the womb, the root, and the heart of the earth. Anchoring in all of these light codes into all 3 hearts and all 3 wombs. Coming back down the steps with this new awareness, this new experience of the Divine Feminine. Coming back fully into the body, anchoring ourselves and grounding ourselves fully, anchoring into the heart of the earth, the earth stars below. And feel free to like this video or comment anything that you might have felt or experienced during the healing part. If there was any clarity that you had on the feminine aspects that are coming up, thank you. And feel free to subscribe to my new channel. Have a great day.